I'm waiting to see if we're live yet.
It always shows this part later.
For those
staring at the screen.
Those that are watching this,
We're good. We're live.
Okay. Well, hey everybody, welcome to Paranormal Pulse. This is our paranormal discussion on YouTube. Hope everybody's doing good. Hey,
Happy Father's Day in the States.
And well, I'm getting there. And so today I have Carrie with me and Dave in Scotland. And we're gonna hopefully not have too many technical issues. Sometimes we have an echo, sometimes the feed is dropped. So let's just keep our fingers crossed on that. And yes, as Carrie said, in the United States, it is Mother's Day. It is Sunday at 12:02 in Utah. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And Carrie, how are you doing?
I'm tired.
Yeah, we'll get to that here in a second. Dave, how are you doing, and how's Scotland? Oh, Carrie just dropped.
Yeah, I'm not hearing feedback now. Strange. Yeah, doing good. We've looks like investigations are starting to pick up now, so we're starting to discuss investigations. We've got something planned soon, so we'll give you a full rundown on here. Might even do it live.
Okay, good.
From Loch Ness.
And that's really good news because UK Paranormal Pulse UK is going to get back into business. That's cool. Second is me and Carrie had an investigation yesterday and last night, about a 8-9 hour investigation, and I got home a little after. I think it was close to 3, somewhere around there. I'm pretty beat, guys. I just literally finished a pot of coffee. Didn't help. Carrie, how are you doing?
I pulled in my driveway 3:30, 3:45, and been up since. So no sleep.
But Dave,
we came up with some good stuff last night, though.
But it was a good investigation. It was a good investigation. We had a good time. There was 4 of us there, and we did experience some really strange stuff. And Dave, this is for you. Then I'll let Carrie talk about the investigation last night. But for the very first time, my condenser mic. Guess what happened?
Someone knocked it.
Well, that happened a couple times, yes, but it's never happened before. About 11 o'clock last night, all of a sudden it was picking up a Spanish radio station. Clear as day. When was, and the last time weird stuff like that happened. Now, the weird thing is, I just want to mention this, and I'm going to let Carrie talk about last night for a second. The condenser, I use coaxial studio cable, and it's shielded, and the mic and everything. So it was really weird. We've never used it probably 200 times, 300 times. Never had that happen. So anyway, so Carrie, you want to mention anything about last night? Besides that, it was really
all good. The internet, everything was gone. It was like the whole city was in a void. So
can I ask the town?
Across the town, all the way back in.
Sorry, in terms of the town, which I mean, do you want to give us? Sorry,
we were at the EH.
Sorry.
Yeah, no. So we were upstairs, and I remember saying something about rotary phones, and then Chris and Cordell are saying through the mic, they start hearing a rotary phone like 7 times, and then someone coming through. I still think we were interrupting phone calls somehow, like baby monitor type things, because later it was like a push dial. But in the back section, it felt like someone from a very long time ago that we would encounter, but I just started thinking in a whole new concept of what the back section would be, and it just lit up a whole new view of what possibly could be going on back there. After all these years of the same thing over and over, it was a total 180.
Interesting.
Go ahead, Dave.
Questioning and that.
Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a brilliant location. It's we've probably encountered everything that can be encountered in one form in that place.
And I do want to mention one thing. So, like Carrie said, they were talking about phone calls, and the place goes back to, well, it actually goes back to the 1800s, the location, but the building we were in, 1912 was when it was built. But so me and Chris, we started hearing a rotary phone coming through the condenser mic. Now, the interesting thing, as Carrie said, I just want to emphasize this. So we heard it 7 times. Here in the States, even back then, a number was 7 numbers, a phone number. So that's
it's still 7.
Right, it still is. But there was a period we had party lines, and then you went into where you had to dial the operator and give me Klondike 734 or something like that. But yeah, it was interesting. I just wanted to emphasize that. Also, real quick, guys, we're trying not to. We all have a different lag. So if we talk over each other, we apologize to the audience in advance. We're trying not to, but it's really difficult at times with the lag and stuff. So, and also on that note, if you see us pause for an ungodly time, it's probably because we're waiting, make sure somebody isn't talking before we jump in. So just an FYI, guys. So yeah, it was a really good investigation, and I'm excited. Dave, do you have any announcements about Paranormal Pulse UK? You guys are going to start investigating, I think.
Yes. So we've kind of been kicking off discussions over the weekend. There, we've everyone's starting to mobilise again, which is great. We've got a definite location we're looking at, probably July, and we could have some other ones kind of in between that. The main one for us is we are booked back into Castle. I think everything, because of lockdown, everyone is flooding everywhere at the moment, and a lot of locations are absolutely just block booked out now. So we'll just catch up with that, but yeah, we're looking forward to getting back into it. It's been a long time.
Thank you, Dave, for the update, and we're really excited for you guys starting investigating again, and as far as the investigation last night, Carrie, that we were on, I would be shocked if we didn't capture some very interesting evidence from last night. I really do.
Well, yeah, because the first time in 9 years, the whole everything that we possibly thought was literally like thrown out the window. I can just remember sitting there and just thinking that the rooms where these things are coming was actually the end of the building at one point for 7 years, and there was an alley back there. So what if the things we're encountering weren't actually tied to the building, but was from an alleyway, which opened up a whole new concept? Then we lost Dave again.
Oh yeah, Dave just.
Yeah,
I don't know. It looks like, guys, Carrie, it's going to be one of those days that it's just technical issues here.
Does he come in?
There's Dave.
Okay, yeah.
Well, yeah, there's Dave dumped again. Jeez. Oh my
He's
God.
trying.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those broadcasts, I'm afraid, where everybody's popping in and out and not knowing why.
He's coming in and going.
Can you text him and have him? He might need to reboot his computer. And it could be on his. We'll just blame his side. It is Scotland after all. They're on like 56K modems, I think.
Is he coming back in? There he is.
There's Dave. Well, Dave, when you guys actually get high-speed internet, I think it'll be better for you. It's okay, Dave. This is an adult show. You can say that. And it's so nice, Dave. I can't wait for you not to have to hear that modem as it dials out. So that's really nice.
Yeah, we just lost internet.
Hey, guys. Well, and this is for the audience. This happens sometimes. We'll have 4 or 5 broadcasts that everything works perfectly. Then we'll have that broadcast like apparently today that everybody's just popping in and out and dropping. And so anyway.
Hi, Lisa. So Cordell, do you want to snitch on yourself for last night?
About
the trailer?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, yeah. So, okay, I'll tell the story and it might not be necessarily funny to those in the chat.
It was.
But if you do enough investigating, and we use walkies, and we've had multiple types of walkies. I've probably bought 3 different. Carrie's had some, and Curry has walkies. And so we have different types, So I bought these ones because all my mine were dying and old. And so I bought these ones that were only like $8 a piece. So I bought 6 of them, and they're literally walkie-talkies, nothing else. And so occasionally we'll get somebody else on the same channel. So last night we're up on the 3rd floor, Dave, and all of a sudden these 2 women come across. And apparently they're traveling, and they got a trailer and stuff. And it's like they're going from California to someplace. And they're talking about this guy, Ben, going, I hope Ben doesn't back into the trailer or something. It was something like that. So I jumped on the walkie and said, oh, Christ, I just backed into the trailer. They thought I was Ben. They go, oh, hey, Ben's got a walkie all of a sudden. You found a walkie. And it was hilarious. And so and we shouldn't have done it, but we were having fun. And then
the trailer's wrecked. The trailer's totaled.
Yeah, the women are freaking out, going, Ben backed into the trailer.
That was the trailer. You.
I think that's Joan. Hi, Joan.
Hi, Joan.
Hey, Joan. And yes, Dave has a potty mouth.
Very seldom.
And so here's the other part of the story. So they're going back and forth and freaking out about that. They think the trailer's been damaged somehow. And then one of them at some point said, do you need to stop? Do you got to go potty? And so I took off my walkie and I said, Carrie, tell him yes. And so tell him what you said, Carrie.
I said, yes, Mommy, I need to pee.
And they go, and then you hear, oh, okay, we'll stop. We totally
I want to get gas anyway.
Anyway, we had fun with it last night.
Hi, Joan. Hi, Lisa.
And if by some weird chance they ever listen to this, I guess the jig's up. So anyway, just want to mention Pussycats. I just like saying that. I had to say that. Pussycats 4, not 2, not 1, not 5, but 4 is a member of Paranormal Pulse UK. And so welcome.
Where's Bob?
Yeah, where is Bob? Dave, where's Bob?
I've got no idea. Who cares where Bob is?
Well, hopefully Bob cares where Bob's at.
Yeah.
Relief.
Yeah, he normally texts. Is he busy?
Okay, so to get this kicked off, I don't want to dwell on this. I just did some alterations to this photo we showed last time of the dungeon. And so I'm just going to show you the filters, just get your opinion and we'll move on, okay? Because we've already covered this. No comment, Lisa. I'll let Dave comment on your
Coming
comment.
to take a shower.
So I'm going to show this in the screen. And like I said, we're not going to dwell on this. I just wanted to. So here's. Oh crap! What did I do? Okay, there we go.
Can we?
We're going everywhere across the screen.
Can we make one clarification on this?
Yeah.
Is this the dungeon or is this?
This is the dungeon.
Like kitchen cooking.
Yeah. So it's a castle in kind of Midlothian area. This is the first level of the 3 layers of like what they call dungeons. But this was a huge cooking area, like a kitchen, like a huge kitchen. They must have cooked all the bread and meats and all sorts of things.
Okay, but
that's what I said.
But it's a dungeon, right? Or is that what you call it? Or is just
they're called the dungeons kind of just as a collective. But I think there's the first floor was more servants, I think.
Okay.
And then the lower 2s were possibly dungeons or whatever. Yeah.
So no big deal here. I'm just going to scroll through them, I think. Let's see. So this is filtered.
It's really tiny.
And so this is filtered and I cleaned it up just a little bit. That's why the edges look sharp now. So there you go on that one. And I think I got, hold on one second. Let me, let's zoom in on this one. So this is a different filter here. So real quick.
Right.
So there appears to be something there. Now, whether it's, oh, there's Bob.
Hey, Bob.
Hi, Bob. And so let's get your guys' opinion on this and then we'll move on. To me, here's my opinion real quick, because this is definitely an independent object there. Now, whether it's part of the fireplace and it's just off-colored bricks or something, or I mean, but it does seem to be something that is different than the bricks in front of it or to the side of it.
Coyle, can you put the original back on, please, just to show the context again?
Yeah. Just take me a second. I got this stupid, I'm using a very simplistic Microsoft. There's the original.
No, sorry, I mean the original with the kind of.
Oh, I don't have that queued up.
Okay. Just
I just wanted to concentrate on this right here.
Okay.
Now I do have one other one. So we got that. Oops, that's the wrong one. Anyway, let me get back to this. So real quick, I thought we would just all comment on this and then we'll move on. Dave, what's your opinion? Does that look any different?
Yeah, we've never obviously said it was paranormal, but it is interesting.
Yeah. Okay, that's quick. Carrie?
I still think it's a light hitting the curved wall in the back, and the part that's coming out is just a brick, like a ledge. There's back wall and then the brick that's giving it. So
fair enough. We'll move on from that one. I just wanted to just show it because we didn't really do any type of analysis, and that was really simplistic, but just wanted to show that real quick because I do find it an interesting photo. So
yeah.
And please, in the comments, put your comments on that. And in our as we go along here, while you two are talking, Dave, if I can pull up the original one, the full blown one.
Yeah, it's an interest. It is an interesting one. It's what we hadn't realised last week, and I remembered when Craig mentioned it, was that there's only a single light down there, and that was in that area, so the whole room was lit up. So the flash plus the light, that's if it did flash. I don't know, because the light was quite bright. So it may have, if the flash was an automatic, it may not have flashed. You know, I just can't remember. It was like December 2019, just before the kind of world went crazy.
Right. Any last thoughts, Carrie? You want to?
I'm raising my hand. When you go back, it would be interesting if you took the pictures on the inside and checked to see if there was any type of ledge. You know how sometimes one brick is offset from another brick that could throw that.
Yeah, I'm sure it's. Yeah, sorry, Carrie. I'm sure it's a flat with a. Yeah.
But it looks like there's bricks coming out, like there's some type of ledge. It could be really small, like it's just not flat to me. So
right.
Okay, guys. Now, since I'm in control, I'm the master of this domain, be it bad or good.
On a Sunday.
Yeah, I got to watch what I say because I don't want Dave to swear too much. So
hey, that was an accident.
Dave never swears.
Exactly. Exactly, and he drove us to it. Yeah, thanks, John. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey,
yeah,
thanks.
that'd be cool to see.
Yeah, because if it's okay to display them, Joan, we'll do that and we'll discuss them, and love to see them. So to switch gears here, I have an EVP that we're gonna play, and like I said, today is going to be kind of a conglomeration of wherever this takes us. We're going to play some evidence and stuff and get our reactions. Now, Carrie and Dave have both heard this. Dave might not remember it. I know Carrie will, because this was, let me show it in the screen here. When was this one? This was 6 years ago. So here's my disclaimer, guys. Everybody in the chat, I can't really control the audio of how it comes across on the YouTube channel. So if you're wearing earbuds or headphones, disclaimer, I don't know if it's going to be loud. You might be too soft. Maybe the people in the chat hopefully will tell us if they can hear it or not and give us your opinion. And what I'll do is I'll play it through, guys, and then I'll just play the EVP part and we'll discuss. Okay. So let's see what happens here. And again, I apologize. I can't really control the audio too much across this broadcast. Trying to find your way back out. So right here, and what it is several of us. This is in Idaho. I'll give the state, and right here's the EVP part that I highlighted, and I'll play it. Let me back up just a hair. Can you guys hear that?
Faintly. I mean, you can hear a voice, but
let me up the volume. I don't dare up it too much here, but let's try this now. Dave, do you hear that?
Yeah.
I'd like your comments. Can you guys hear it? If you can hear it, please give a response what you think. To me, it's crystal clear, and I find it interesting. We're in a basement, and I think I can say this, Carrie. It was a theater, and we're in the theater area of this building, and we're kind of laughing. Carrie was there, several other people, and there's this whispery voice.
Where's mine?
The what?
Where's my tea?
My darling wife brought a cup of coffee.
Lisa's
I do miss Dave's tea on investigations. That was really nice. And I don't know.
Pudding. Ambrosia.
Joan here's Get Away. So Dave, what's your opinion? And if anybody wants me to play it again, I will play it again.
Can you play it again, please?
Yes. And like I said, I'm really leery of pushing the volume too much, but so here we go. One more time. So Dave, what's your opinion?
I hear you're it. That's what I hear.
Okay.
You're
Carrie,
it.
what?
I hear I think I'm hearing did you do it?
Wow,
definitely hearing it is did you do it?
And that's the beauty of EVPs, huh?
Well, no, it's interesting.
5 different
because we have a Pulse application where people go and comment on evidence, and we want members to comment on evidence that where we really want them to comment is on evidence that isn't theirs. So we get a cross section of what people think so we can start analyzing the piece of evidence. Now in the members app, the consensus, there was a pretty good high consensus of what's being said. And so far, nobody has said what we thought it said. Now, in all fairness, it sounds different. I can't control across the internet on this broadcast.
Yeah.
So to me, it's crystal clear. It says, "Take me away."
What?
And I'll play it again.
But now you said it, people are going to hear it. But
right, but I had to at some point.
Yeah, I definitely don't hear it.
I think someone's saying, "Take me away from them bad jokes that Cordell's telling." I mean, there was some kind of forced laughter there. I'm sure of it.
Oh man. Okay, here we go. One more time.
Yeah. No, I don't hear the 3 like "take me away." I hear duh, like 2.
Okay.
I definitely hear do it, but I think I'm hearing like did you do it?
I hear an
Not
at the end. Yeah.
Did you do it? I definitely hear an it.
It could be do it.
All right, Lisa, take you up on it. We'll be there. And it's funny because Dave, you said the first thing I heard was definitely a strong it at the end. So when you said that, then I think we're I think there's a tad bit of a slang in there, like instead of saying you, it's did you do it? Which would make sense in the area.
I'm trying to catch up on the chats, guys.
Yeah, I just think there's too much joviality going on before that, mind. That's lots of laughter, nervous laughter, probably from Cordell.
No, this is interesting though. I like playing these because, again, the audio quality, we can't control it. Live streaming, obviously, and this one isn't what we would call, I think we rated this one like a 3 or something because it is more of a whisper. It's not crystal clear. It's not as loud as the investigators' voices. There's a lot of reasons how we rate evidence, but I think it's really, go ahead.
It's a male.
Yes.
I think we're all in agreement that it's a man. So
well, let's get the people in the chat. Does most people in the chat agree that's a male? Because the reason Carrie brought that up, I want to point it out, because if you can't agree on what's being said, you break it down, step back one step and go, okay, is this a female? Is this a male? Can we tell maybe the age of the or range of age? Like, is this a child? Is it sound like a young teen? Is this a young man or a very old man? So you step back and you break down, even if you can't decide on what's being said or totally interpret it. So you step back, and Carrie just pointed that out. Let's see. We got pussycats. I hear a male. Yep. And I suspect, Carrie and Dave, that most people will go, yeah, that's a male. That's not a woman speaking. That's definitely a male. And this is critical, Dave, Carrie, that this process, that you go through this process. Now, if you can't decide on what gender it is, then that should impact the rating of this, how you analyze this, because you got to break it into sections. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Dave, you go first. Oh, then Carrie raised her hand.
Yeah.
Dave?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some of the old photographs of some of the women in the early 18th and 19th century. So I would never say it's a male. No, I'm just joking. You know, Conal, we saw those photographs. You know, yeah, it's male, and I think you're right. I think what you do is you kind of. So what do we know? We know this, you know, and I think you do break it down like that. That's a good way to put it.
I muted myself. Carrie, you had your hands raised.
Yeah, you definitely want to break it down. If you can't tell it's a male or female, then you got to look at it. Is this a vocalization? Or does it sound like it's movement? And you have to kind of go through getting rid of what it might be, like wind or another investigator or something like that. So you might, we might say, well, that sounded like a movement. Okay, where's that from? And kind of go that way. So if you don't hear a voice, then you do definitely want to kind of break it down into sounds and, bangs, movement, wind, and all that stuff, directions.
Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, and I think it's more difficult when it's a child, because you don't really know a gender sometimes, or if it's a whisper, sometimes a whisper can come across kind of either gender. But I think that was clear. There was some urgency there. It was definite male.
And Dave, I do want to say, one of the things I miss about you being here and investigating with us was those soft whispers you would give to me in my ear and when we were in a dark area. It was reassuring. So thank you.
Exactly.
And I do miss that. Sorry.
Well, I used to always say I'm a female, and I would talk because to me I sound very manly sounding.
No, you definitely don't sound manly.
Oh, Bob.
You're
That's Bob.
I mean, what did Bob say?
I'm at the age.
Well, that's true, Bob. I hate to say it, but I kind of relate to what Bob just said. So I do. So I don't. Okay, I have another clip, and this is in Utah, and I can say where, not where, but the city, because it's widely known we go here, but let me see. It is, this is in Eureka. So this one's interesting, and I think Dave and Carrie, I know Carrie was and I was, but I think Dave, you were at this investigation also. And again, same things, disclaimer. Oh, wait, I'm trying to keep up on the chats here, guys.
Joan's got a really good point there too. I think it's kind of going to what I said on the previous one, is that we're hearing like the American kind of slang, whereas even same words can mean different things.
No,
Yeah,
and you know, and I have to add this. One of the great things besides the friendships that we made with Dave and his family and everlasting friendships, that it was really nice, Carrie, to all of a sudden have somebody that was from a different country, because Dave would listen to something and go, well, that, or I would ask him and he'd go, oh, that's Irish. Yeah, that's an Irish, or that's Scottish, or that sounds almost Welsh or something. And that was really nice to have that diversity on the team.
Because Cordell still can't tell the difference between Scottish and
You
Irish and
wait, are you challenging me to do my Scottish accent or my Irish accent?
No, don't. I do want to say something, because when I lived in England, I actually had comments on this, and I had several of our British friends in that say that when they talked, it's very clear, like word, and they kind of describe us Americans as kind of singing our words. We kind of flow them into each other. And that always kind of stuck with me, because it really is. We kind of flow our words, so the dialect and all that. And here we were thinking, you all had the accent. We were being told, no, you're the ones with the accent. So that always kind of stuck with me.
Well, Carrie, I want you to know,
I've only got one thing to say. Sorry, I've only got one thing to say, Cordell. Ground floor. That's the bottom floor. Ground floor.
No, don't go there. Don't. Do you want me to start showing elevator photos, Dave?
First floor. What? First floor is the first floor, not the ground floor.
We don't call it the ground.
There are places that do.
You should.
There's the first floor and the basement. All you have to do is go into any elevator. It explains it, and you can. There's no G. There's no basement as the first floor. We're in the United States. But I do want to add one thing about Carrie saying we sound like we're singing. That's probably why people call me the Dean Martin of investigators, that voice of mine.
Oh, man.
What?
That was Jerry Lewis.
No?
Hang on a minute. Is Dean Martin not dead?
Hey, yes, he is. He is.
That's probably what they mean, Cordell.
Channeling Dean Martin.
You do look like his twin. No, I mean, that always stuck with me, because it stuck with me because it really did make sense, and it made me more aware. And years of living there and coming back, our dialect actually we went from a very proper British sounding back down to my kind of Southern twang, and the kids had the British accents and all that. So that was always quite interesting.
I'm trying to keep up on the chats, guys, here.
Yeah, we do sound singy. And Cordell has a radio voice.
Honestly, Lisa, I had to listen to him all the time. You get sick after a while.
Dave, but see, I and thank you, Lisa.
I don't know what end he's blowing air from.
Thank you, Lisa, and I hear that all the time from women. So thank you very much. Okay, let's get on with some paranormal stuff, guys. So I have another clip here, and this is from Eureka, Utah, and it's about what's the date on this one? Sorry. The date is
honestly, Cordell, you have got a voice for radio, though. You should have a radio show.
I know, it's funny because at work I get that all the time, and I'm in meetings at work where we're supposed to go in sequence of who conducts the meeting, and I get called on a lot to conduct the meeting. They go, "Oh, you got the best voice." Yeah, everybody. So yeah, I hear that, but maybe I should have had a late radio jazz talk.
It's great. Send me to sleep all the time.
Yes, that's the one thing that people do say.
Bob, I can't wait to see you again. Hey, I miss you too, Lisa. You guys are like a second family, and you're always in our hearts. And I can speak for Carrie on that. We're always thinking of you, and we're thinking of Dave whenever we investigate. And
Always have
stuff,
a room open.
Yeah, you guys. Yeah, and it's same thing. You guys are like family. So, all right, let's listen to this clip. And again, I can't guarantee how it'll sound or if anybody will be able to hear it, but hopefully the people in the chat.
Let's have a listen.
So let's have a listen. Maybe that should be our catchphrase, huh? So let's have a listen. Here we go. One word. It's just one word, guys, and none of us.
It sounds like it's in a tunnel.
Well, this is it's one word that I have no idea. The reason I picked this one, because I have no idea. Nobody knows what it's saying. It seems to be one word. It sounds like it's in a tunnel because the room this came from was all concrete, and we were up front at base camp, and that's why it sounds echoey and in a tunnel. Go ahead.
Play it again because I'm hearing something, but I could be off.
Yeah.
I'm welcome because we've had. I don't think we've ever agreed on this in Pulse in general on this one. So here we go. One more time.
I know what I hear.
Okay, let me say this before, and then we'll go around the room, and you guys out in the chat, throw it out there. If you have no idea or whatever, just say it. So this is interesting. I'd love to know or be sure what is being said. But the one thing I will say about this, it is clear. And let's break this down first, guys. So when Dave, when you talk, and Carrie, when you talk, first thing, let's decide what gender do you hear. I think it's very, very clear, but I can't make out. I don't know if we're missing part of the word. Carrie has an idea. So Dave, thoughts? You're going first.
Well, without listening to it, obviously close with headphones, I would say it sounds like shaken or yeah, it's like shaken or something like that. It's male, sounds male. At first, I couldn't. At first, I couldn't tell the accent, but then it is American. But I just couldn't tell it initially. So yeah, I hear like shaken, something like that. And that was, yeah.
Okay, Carrie, you're up next.
I hear chicken.
Chicken, interesting.
Like
that's obviously Cordell was there.
If it's where it's at, it would be appropriate because in America, when someone's scared or timid, we call them chicken.
Yeah, Cordell was probably there.
Dave.
Sorry.
Oh my God.
Right. To me, it sounds like it's saying one of us is chicken, like your chicken to come back.
I'm sure I wasn't there, Cordell, for that one.
So, and you know, I'm glad you guys have said that. I heard like check at the beginning, and that could go with chicken or what Joan pussycats. I gotta say pussycats. What pussycats? I just like saying that word. I love your your moniker there, Joan. But she says checking or check it. And that also, now Dave, that's interesting. So you and Lisa both say shaking. So we're all hearing a K in there.
Yeah.
We're all hearing an ing.
Yeah, a K ing. And let me play it one more time.
It's a CH.
And I do need to add this, guys, that it's funny because this isn't like a dramatic EVP, like I'm going to kill you all tomorrow. This is nothing like that. This is just one word, and 80% of the time, a lot of our EVPs are one word. And I mean, we get multiple words and everything. So this is an interesting one. I wanted to play this because it is clear. You hear a voice, but at the same time, nobody's 100% sure what's being said. Go ahead, Carrie. You got your hand raised.
Yeah, to me, it just by saying chicken, it has intent. It's a challenge. I absolutely hear like challenged, like I dare you.
And thank you, Pussycats. Yeah, she's having a serious cleaning going on, and yeah. And her name's Chance, by the way. And she came to me via Carrie, actually. She owes her wonderful home to Carrie. And
No.
she's spoiled. She's a princess. So, but thank you for the shout out for Chance, or as I call her, Chancey.
Fancy.
So, anyway, it's so. What do you guys think? If you guys were to rate this evidence right now, this EVP, and I'll play it one more time. I'll play it twice, but I'd like to hear Carrie and Dave. I'm going to put you on the spot. Knowing the location, knowing what we've caught at this location in previous investigations, what would you rate this? And let me play it twice here.
Shake. Shake.
Dave, go ahead.
You know, it's interesting. I think when people have been saying that, you kind of hear the ch as well. You know, like it could be shaken or chicken. I can see that. Yeah, I would say it's a 2 or a 3, to be honest.
Okay, Carrie, what's your opinion?
I mean,
That's out of 5. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm in agreement. I would, for me, probably around a 3 because it's definitely a male. And to me, I'm going to keep saying it sounds like chicken. I'm not saying that is exactly what's being said, but I'm going to stand my ground on that one, which would absolutely make sense to the location and everything was going on. But it's definitely male, 2 syllables, that type. So.
And go ahead.
It's interesting. So I was going to say, sorry. It's interesting that may have been a longer sentence, and we've just kind of picked up that word. It could have said something like, "That old man Cordell is a chick." It's like kind of picked up. It's kind of picked up that bit.
Go ahead, Carrie.
And Cordell's right. Like on those, I definitely hear a ch sound, a ch and a ken. So I really hear chicken, so I'm gonna stand my ground on that.
Okay.
But picking out syllable sounds and consonants and all that can be really important too, because you're saying a k, and to me it's a ch.
Well, I'll give my opinion. We'll move on, but this is what's important. I would give this a 3 out of 5 because one, it's clear, but I downgrade it because it's only one word. Granted, 2 syllables, which is better than 1 syllable, but also that the clarity that we can't decide on it. There's not a consensus. And I think you need at least 70-80% to have a consensus. I lean towards shaken. It's like, and I could make up a context because we know the location, we know what it was for a long time. I could see where somebody could have been shaken up against the walls and stuff like that, or they're shaken because maybe they're going to be something bad's going to happen to them. But go ahead, Dave, you raise your hand.
In terms of the location, would the voice have echoed in that location? Would it?
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, and I know what, because if I was Carrie, what I would say is chicken also fits because they could be talking about somebody else there or us, and chicken would have fit in the same scenario, right, Carrie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So good job, everybody, and appreciate your participation. And guys, whenever we play evidence, what Pulse does is we rate evidence 0 through 5, and 0 being non-evidential, that it's basically been debunked. Um, and so 1, 2, 3, and obviously the clarity is critical, and understanding what's being said and everything. So in a consensus basis. So just for future reference, go ahead and rate anything we display. What do you guys have any last words on this? Because I'm going to queue up something else.
We have fought tooth and nails over EVPs before on what we view as being said. And you have to be able to listen and try to apply what the other person is hearing. But if you honestly can't hear it, stick true to what you're hearing. Don't let someone talk you into hearing something else. And when you go back, direct towards what you think the response is to. And you could be right, and you could find out that maybe the other person is, but listen, but if you really like, I'm going to stick with chicken. But we have gone back and forth before over EVPs and not come into agreement, but acknowledged what each other is kind of hearing and taking the important stuff out of it, like the male and age and type stuff.
And I think it's interesting that, we don't really need to know what, I think whether it could be 2 words is fine with us, and we can leave it at that. We don't have to say it must be only this, and but Corey, I'd be interested in the people in the audience that hearing a 5. Yeah, you're on mute again.
Oh.
I know some people prefer me that way, Dave.
Always.
No, I can play a 5, and I can dig that up here in a minute. God, almost an hour has gone by. You believe that already? It's amazing. And I want to just a big shout out to everybody in the chat. Thank you so much. It's what makes this fun, and I'm glad we're having fun, because that's what there should be. You guys in the chat should be having fun. We're having our laughs, but we're being serious too. So, but thank you guys, everybody out there. Okay, I'm gonna play this one. This one is not
really quick. Let me just add one thing to what Dave said. You're right. We also have to listen to, is there an intent or some type of emotion that's coming with it, which we've encountered many a time. So,
and I'll add one thing, because you both, it's absolutely correct what both of you say. And also, you can have a 1-word EVP. In my book, it can be a 5.
Yeah.
And because it's all about context, right? And or you can have, and we definitely have 3-4-word EVPs that are 5s. We have 1s, and context, and anyway, we could go on about this, but let me play this one now as a disclaimer. This let me get some chats here. Let's see. Let's see.
That's true. And by your comments, you're helping us too. I mean, we're not claiming we know everything. It's a back and forth learning process for everybody.
And let me add this too, that if you have a paranormal group, you need to be willing to refine your processes, how you analyze stuff. Nothing is ever written in concrete. You need to also be willing to go back to what you thought something was, be willing to go back and redefine it, or actually go, oh, hey, you know what? We've just debunked this, I think. And maybe it was like just this fantastic piece of evidence that you've shown people for 4 years, but at some point maybe you will debunk it. But you need to be right, guys, to be able to go back and say, hey, we were wrong about this.
Well, that can be an exciting event in itself. Being able to debunk something that's a puzzle.
Yes, I agree, Pussycats. I just like saying that name for some reason. So this is a video. This is not evidential. It's a video. I can't do anything with the sound. It's because it's a video, so you'll either be able to hear it. But I wanted to show this because it's one of my all-time favorite Pulse videos, even though it's not paranormal. And Dave, no, you're not in it. I'm sorry, bud. You're not in it. Carrie's in it though, and I am. And Carrie will know it as soon as I bring it up on screen. So here we go. And I just want to show it because it's not always, people are always worried about the supernatural and the dead and all that. Most of the danger you encounter on investigations aren't from the dead, guys. And some of you maybe already seen this. So here we go. Let me back up. Here we go.
Just what I thought. Females not brave enough to do little things. No, for once I thought, oh, a bat just flew by my head. Yeah. Oh, another one. You're dive bombing. There's another one. Oh, they're full. There's a ton.
What, that?
It popped up right in front of me.
Well, I think that's up here.
There are tons of bats up here.
We go with this section to the bats. I'm serious.
Oh, Cordell.
What?
I said, oh, Cordell. You're going to tell the whole story to that.
I'm going to let you, because I told you guys before we broadcast, since I just finished a pot of coffee. I got to run and do something with that pot of coffee. Mm-hmm. I'll be right back. You guys discuss this.
So this was Cordell and I, and we're up and we literally can't see. I've just got the IR camera shut, so we're up in the dark. And for like half an hour, and Cordell's starting to back down the hall, and he's like, there's something black coming at us. And I'm looking, and I'm like, I'm not saying anything. He goes, oh, it's coming. And he's like, damn it, someone's coming at us. And he's backing up and kind of going in, and I'm still looking at like, I'm not seeing this. And he's like, it's getting bigger. And so I'm like, all right, I'm going down. I got to see what he's talking about. I'm, looking for this shadow walking down the hall. And I get down there, and then I'm like, they're bats. Cordell comes up behind me, and he literally starts freaking the crap out because that's a disease. Let's get out of here. And if you could hear the whole video, I'm like laughing, and oh, here comes another one. And Cordell's like, it's going to get in your hair, because it was dive bombing my head in the light. He's like, they carry diseases. Let's go. Come on, let's go. He was freaking the crap out over the bats. And going back, he wouldn't go back up there any other time during the seasons of the bat. And neither would
that. You know what? That's as expected from Cordell. I've seen him many times run in the opposite direction.
Bats and clowns. So yeah. I wouldn't go to that floor, and he wouldn't go to the other building but yeah, the what he was seeing coming down the hall was, there was just enough light somehow that he could see just the black mass of the bat.
Yeah, hey, you know what?
It took me to go to explore it.
Is that the same location with that big owl as well, is it? Is that the same building?
Yeah, we can mention this location. It's Albion.
Right.
Yeah. So, but he would never go into the gymnasium with the clowns, and
yeah,
the bats did it in for him.
I mean, I used to have to accompany him everywhere. He used to have to hold me hand. He was petrified. Oh, hello,
wait a minute. Wait. See, this is what happens when I leave you guys alone.
It's only the truth. I could play the whole video.
I've been totally defamed. You know, it was me that had to protect Dave's honor in Gold Hill because he came running back down to base camp, said, I cannot go up there again. So I went up there and confronted the guy and put him to his knees.
Oh, bad.
and Bob had to sleep with Dave that night because Dave couldn't sleep alone. Bob remembers that. He'll tell. All right. Anyway, I wanted to show that just because it always makes me smile. Because that night, me and Carrie encountered so many friggin' bats up there. I don't know what was going on, because usually at night the bats are not in the building because they go out.
Actually, Cordell, I heard that Carrie encountered lots of bats up there. You wouldn't come up. You wouldn't go up.
He was heading back. He was behind.
That's what I heard.
I draw my line at winged animals flying at your head. I'm sorry, I do draw my line.
You know,
that's my line.
But seriously speaking, you have to be aware of these things too, of critters that are in the buildings, raccoons coming out of the floor, to, you know, how many peacocks and owls did we hear that sounded like people screaming?
Yeah.
And if you listen to the TV show, they call it, oh, people are screaming. And we're just like, no, those are the peacocks and everything outside. So it just goes to show, you know, even be aware of critters and animals that are around.
I want you to know, I think I'll just leave Bob's comment up the rest of the show, just because Bob, me and you know the truth there. Gold Hill, Dave was just like Jello half the time. It just was really, Anyway, let's see. Rabies. I think it's supposed to be rabies.
Oh, right.
Now, maybe that's how it's spelled in the UK. I don't know.
No, it's definitely not.
Oh, he corrected himself. Anyway, I had to play that because Carrie made some really good points, and I wanted to point out, guys, that when you're investigating, you got to be aware. And yes, sometimes nature, if you're in an enclosed building, sometimes nature invades the enclosed building. Dave, I remember at one point you ran away from an animal at EH, and Bob found that it was a kitten, and because you saw this kitten coming at you in the hallway and ran the other way, is what Bob told me. I don't know if that's
true. Yeah, we know this real story. Yeah.
Anyway,
hey, Cordell, sorry, Cordell, but on that note, right? That in that location with the kitten, me and Bob heard like the meowing, as if it was like kind of on the ground on the first floor or lower, and then all of a sudden this kind of really loud meowing came around us, like it was being mimicked. So that was really interesting. We've recorded it as well. I could probably play it on here once.
I'm trying to give me a second, guys. Yep. I'm going to try to, we had a request to show what we would consider a 5-star EVP, and I'm trying to find that here. So Give me a second, and I'll let you and Carrie talk.
I think those Evanston train station ones are pretty good.
Yeah. The problem is I got to find it among my 10,000 files.
That's why you need a good file system as an investigator.
Yeah.
Actually, Carrie, you're on mute.
Yeah, I just unmuted myself. I just gave a whole speech that no one heard, so lucky everybody. But no, what I was saying is that sometimes a one word or one sound can hold a lot of power to it. For example, the lady crying or moaning, that one, there was no words. It was just gut-wrenching, painful moan. And it just really hit us all. So those can be very powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, especially when it's emotion, isn't it?
Yeah. Especially when it seems to be women and young kids or kids. It just pulls at a whole heartstring of emotions.
I mean, I remember one of the locations that me, you, and Cordell were at when we recorded that poor girl just saying "help me," and we found out that I think there was an explosion or a fire and she'd been badly burnt. I mean, that was horrible. Hearing that kind of "help me."
She spoke a lot.
Yeah.
She was very vocal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that and yeah, several people died from that, but it took 3 days for her to die.
Yeah, and we heard it. I mean, horrible. Mm-hmm. Horrible.
I did find it. So, Pussycat, we're going to honor your request here. I'm setting it up now. And this is what we would consider a 5-star EVP. And it's in Wyoming. And let me and hopefully you guys will be able to hear it. Let me know if you can hear it. And we might as well discuss it for a minute too. So let's hear what it has to say.
You like a night of drinking and gambling, or even a lady friend? You're single. We're more happy to provide that. I have money. You're single.
Do you guys hear that?
Yeah.
I'll play it one more time.
You're single.
Okay, so that was a request from Joan. So I'll hide that.
I can't actually hear it.
Oh, you couldn't? Did you hear it, Dave?
Yeah.
Is it the TS?
No.
Yeah, I think.
So, Dave, what's your opinion of that? And then
Yeah, it sounds like it's in response to what Carrie's doing an EVP session, it sounds like, and she's saying something like going drinking with your lady friends or something, and you hear you hear an older lady say, "You're single."
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's right.
I'm thinking of another location, but yeah.
Odell trying to find it.
Oh, Dave just jumped.
Oh crap! Did he jump off? We didn't hear that either. It. Oh, well, I'm sure he's going to jump on.
Yeah, and John, it says you're single as a question. So Carrie, I'll play Carrie's saying, trying to get a response. She's saying, how would you like to go out for a night of drinking and gambling? And then it sounds like an older woman comes in and says, you're single? Hope Dave's trying to get back in, I believe. Maybe he's trying. Yep, here he comes. And it's really crystal clear. Here, let's show Dave. Get Dave back on. Hey, Dave, you there?
It must be this 56K modem.
It must be that damn internet in Scotland, I'll tell you.
Ah.
So I'll play it just the EVP part again. And I didn't want to really dwell on this one too much, but I'll play it. Let me up it just a little bit. I don't want to blow. Okay, here we go. I'll play it twice in a row.
Your signal. Your signal.
You know what, Cordell? I think it also reflects the attitude at the time on women going out alone. I think that's an interesting. That's a really interesting context to this. Yeah. It's it isn't just a random EVP. It's in response to a question, but it's also in response to a question with context based upon a time in history.
Yeah. I was actually directing questions that would get a response like that, because we were actually talking like, if I'm going to get anything, women didn't go out drinking. So it was kind of saying it in acknowledgement that this just wouldn't happen in their time. So to get that response back kind of fit into the whole direction we were going with it.
Yeah, well, that was great. And I think, I don't think married women could go out by themselves, could they, at that time?
No, and they would have been divided. Men on one side, women another. And so.
Well, it was really would have been in the Victorian age, it would have been really scandalous if a married woman went out drinking or without her husband.
Or even a single woman, a woman just going out of age would have been scandalous.
And that's why I think this is one of the all-time greatest, not just our EVPs that is great, in general, just one of the greatest EVPs ever caught, because it's in context. It reflects an age from a woman that almost kind of like is bewildered by Carrie's statements. Like, well, in her mind, she's going, well, you're at least single, right? You would never be married and ask me to do that. Because she goes, you're single? And it's I think it's one of the best EVPs ever, because like both of you had said, anyway,
there's fluctuation and disdain and all kinds of stuff just in.
Yeah, it's like this statement, this questioning, like, well, I hope you're single, because that would,
or then I'm an old maid.
Yeah, or something. And Dave, you summed it up. And so anyway, that's what that was for Pussycats. You requested one of ours that we would consider a 5-star. That to us is a 5-star. I think it's a 5-star in anybody's book, and I think it's one of the greatest ones anybody's caught, to be honest with you. It's because it's crystal clear, and it's the same volume as Carrie almost. There's like, you would swear that there's a living person there talking. There's no there's no whispering, there's no, it's just fantastic. So.
This caused actually a lot of response when we did this for our program, and everybody heard it, and it really brought in a lot of everybody had a response and kind of went in the same direction as we did with what was being said, a consensus. So it was really cool to see that.
I agree. Go ahead, Dave. You had something, I think.
It also echoes as well, just like Carrie was. You know, it's as if the actual voice was formed there in that same location. You know, it isn't just a random signal bouncing around places. You know, it was quite. It was at the right time. It was deliberate.
Well, and it literally sounds like this woman is standing right next to Carrie. Yeah. I mean, I would guess that she was probably within a couple feet of Carrie actually looking right at her. I mean, that's what in my mind, that's what I visualize.
Yeah,
So
I mean, but we didn't hear it.
no, it did not. We didn't hear anything at the time. Now to move on, since
That's amazing.
we have about 14 minutes, guys, and we've played several EVPs and one video. So I'm going to play another video, and this place we can talk about. Tons of people in the state know about it. It's called Mercer, Utah. The town itself was a mining town. It no longer exists, and mine owns the area, and they're basically a strip mine now. So all the original town's gone. This is outside of Mercer, down the canyon. It's their cemetery. It's kind of a sad place. We didn't go there to investigate. We went there as kind of a team event to go out, and we had a campfire and we cooked hot dogs and everything. But because Carrie, we're paranormal investigators, we're like, well, we're here, we're going to put some equipment out and blah blah blah. And we had some interesting things happen.
Every Tom, Dick, and Harry goes there now.
Yeah. And
Right.
and so I'm going to play, this is from a trap camera. There's no audio on this trap camera. This trap camera was set off, and it's pointed at, you'll see a picket fence in the background. Well, let me show it in the stream here. So this picket fence you see, that's marks a grave. Well, actually, I think several graves, Carrie. And there's this bush here, and so this trap camera only records when movement, when it detects movement. And you guys will have to watch this closely, because let me go full screen so that everybody can see my cursor. I want to explain this a little bit, and then we'll let Carrie talk about it. But you'll start seeing movement right up in this area, and about halfway through you'll see, and it almost looks like somebody with a hat walking through here. And this back here is a marked off grave. It's an old picket fence, wood fence with a grave. And I'll let Carrie speak more, but there's graves everywhere, tons of unmarked graves. They've been totally forgotten about and everything. So let's play this and see what everybody thinks. And so here we go. I'm going to play this part again real quick. Can you guys see that movement?
Yeah.
There's a dark image walking.
Well, it originally starts and heads towards the grave. And it looks like it turns around and comes back.
Yeah, I want to play that. Now, at the very end, or not the very end, but close to it, you actually can see some other movement through here. You might not across I don't know if you saw that, but so whatever's there keeps moving around back there. But I wanted to show this one because I think it's an interesting one. It's a graveyard. We don't investigate graveyards as in general or in principle. So Dave, go ahead, your turn.
Looks interesting. There was a little bit of movement. You could see something behind that bush to the left. In terms of context, I mean, could someone walk up to it and then along without you noticing them? Could someone have kind of got to the back of that bush without your? I mean, this is in the middle of nowhere, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Actually, if I would play the whole clip, previous to that happening, you'll see two investigators walk over to it, and you know exactly who it is because you see all the detail. You see the clothing, you see their faces, their hair, everything. Right. It's after this, everybody's accounted for. I set the trap camera down, and we were actually just sitting and looking at these areas and this just happens to appear. Nothing else. There was nobody else there. And when you go over there, because we've gone back, once we don't go there anymore because it's just a place for people to go hang out. But in that distance, you can see people's articles of clothing. You can tell who is there. This is solid black. And when it's blown up, it almost looks like it comes up from the ground, walks over by this grave, kind of fiddles, then turns around. And at the end, it's just gone because you'd be able to see it through the rest of the bush. And you're on a big hill and all that. There was no way for anybody to be there.
I'm playing it in auto repeat, so it's continuously playing. So those in the chat can watch it as we talk about it. Go ahead, Dave. You had something to say.
And if someone was visiting that area, you'd see the car headlights from miles away, wouldn't you? I'm assuming.
They'd have to walk up a steep, almost straight up.
Right.
And there was like 5 of us, all accounted for, and we were all looking in these directions. There was nothing going through all the trap camera. I mean, I can put a piece together to show a big clip of it, but this just appears. And Cordell was afraid of animals out there.
No, okay. Look, guys.
That's not an animal. That is like human form. Maybe Sasquatch.
It could be. Hey, it could be.
Yeah, we're wearing it. Yeah, okay. Baby Sasquatch. Yeah, that's okay. Anyway, what I was going to say, I'll tell you guys some other time. I have literally been attacked by a cougar, by a bear, by a badger. And I'm not saying almost attacked. I was attacked. So I have a reason. Now, I won't even go into all the times clowns have attacked me, and which someday I'll tell you the stories of those clown attacks. But back to this video, guys, in all seriousness. Let's see. I'm trying to keep up on the chat.
Really, when I caught it, I had to keep going back and looking, the time frame, slowing it down. I'm like, I know who that is. I know who that is. You could see their faces. There was no mistaking what investigators. And we weren't even investigating.
No.
And this shortly after, there's nothing coming into frame, nothing going out of frame. And like I said, you could see what people were wearing in that. And this is just a solid black mass. It just kind of ends.
So I want to interject one thing. So everybody in the chat, whether you watch this later, a month from now, whatever, I'm curious. I'd like everybody in the chat to say how would you rate this as a piece of evidence, an unknown, or I just don't know, or no, this is not evidence, not good enough? I'd like to hear from everybody. And then Dave, what's some more thoughts on this real quick?
I think it's an unknown. It's just is that fence hard against the bushes there, is it?
No.
Oh, so you could get between the fence and the bush. Oh, okay. I think it's an unknown.
Okay, Carrie, what's your opinion? Then we'll hopefully the chat.
I love it, but it is an unknown. We did go back because of this, didn't capture anything. And like we said, we don't do cemeteries. This was just by chance. Now, if you look, every night somebody's out at Merker. So there's no way you could go back and not have a contamination and all that. So it is going to be listed as an unknown. Interesting unknown.
Yeah, I would rate it as, basically what Carrie said and Dave said is an unknown. We can't prove it one way or the other. If you could strip that bush away, guys, this might be one of the best captures we've ever made, but it never works out that way, unfortunately. And Lisa, it looks like we have Bob saying it's probably evidence. It may be evidence. So Bob, even though Bob says evidence here, he's kind of shaky on it, like maybe. So I think the consensus is unknown. And I wanted to show this, and I wanted to specifically ask that question because, guys, this is the difficulty. And I also wanted to emphasize when people send us photos or when we analyze our own photos or video, no matter how much we want it to be evidence, we have to be realistic. We have to be honest. And if we can't verify and be able to make a valid argument that this is 100% paranormal, we end up having to go, it's an unknown, right? Is
Jeez. Derek's seen it from heaven. Him and Sam are.
So, yeah, and Pussycats, that's what I'm trying. Yeah, and that's why I showed this because we've played some EVPs that in our group, because we know the context, we were there, et cetera, it was our investigation. We're convinced is 100% valid evidence. But yet this is our video. Carrie caught it with her trap camera. We can't do that, even if though we want to, right, guys? And we would love to have this as 100% evidence. But I kind of wanted to show a cross section of evidence and get in, and I'm glad we did today. We kind of talked about rating and analysis and breaking EVPs down. First go, is that a female, a male, the gender, maybe age group, etc. Instead, because a lot of times you'll never decide 100% on what's being said, but at least you can break it down and get to a certain point. Maybe video is much tougher, guys, right? Like this video, because can Carrie be 110% certain that somebody didn't sneak up on us and we weren't aware of them? That could have happened. It was unlikely, and I don't think it happened, but can we eliminate that 100%? We can't. Anyway, thoughts? Carrie, go ahead, then Dave.
Too many people are taking these things and this is evidence. And that's just not what this field is about. You're going to have more unknowns, questions than you'll ever have any type of clue. We're never going to have these answers. It's just, we're trying. I don't even read what Bob wrote yet, but
you'll need to read it.
Too many, exactly. Too many people are taking these iffy things. They're becoming words. They're becoming 100% evidence, and it's just all total BS. And people are buying into it, and I'm just never going to do that. Well, we'll never do that. I'll keep it short because I'm not going to go on a rampage. But
okay, no, those are all valid things. Dave, what's your final thoughts on that?
Exactly what you said. Audio, when we're there, we know the context. I think video. There's a lot more questions on video. We have had the ratio we've had of audio to video evidence is probably like 20,000 to 2 or something like that, 10,000 to 1. We have had some interesting video, but we usually see it way after the event. We assess it weeks later, days later, months later, whatever. And that's probably one of the unfortunate things with video, is because you have to, if you could review it at the time, then you could make you could do the tests and what have you. But because we don't, we end up going back months later and things have changed. That's one of the beauties of evidence review. Could take some time.
Yeah, and it's not just going, oh, I got 4 audio clips here. It's actually taking the time to evaluate that evidence. And one of the critical components, guys, is always try to be as honest as possible. And sometimes people get, and this is the part that I think people struggle with, guys. I wanted to mention this. So let's say Dave thinks he caught the best audio clip ever, and then Carrie jumps in and says, no, that I think, because I got another audio in it. And you get deflated. You get this emotional buy-in, whether it's a video, audio, photo. And that's one of the hardest part, guys, is to be able to separate that emotional attachment, because you go, oh, this is the best thing I've ever caught. And then you find out that it's debunked, and that can be hard to deal with. And I think some people struggle with that, and that's really tough because they take it personal.
But then you find the pride in your team saying, good job. We're not just taking it for granted. People took the time, broke this down. We covered our asses because we had another camera or audio or whatever. So yeah, it can be deflating, but at the same time, it can be damn good feeling to say, hey, we went this far as to try to debunk this, or we synchronized all this that we could debunk and compare. So
Dave?
I still find EVPs fascinating. Where you get a kind of you could get a glimpse of history. That your single clip. I mean, for it to be so clear, how on earth could you not hear that? You know what I mean? It's been recorded on a device which is designed for perfect human kind of hearing
range. Yeah,
20 hertz to 20 kilohertz or whatever. You would have heard something. I mean, at that volume, at that standing next to you, we'll say. So these things are either hiding out at the very high end of that frequency, which might just be out of earshot of Carrie, and definitely for us, because males cut off a lot earlier than that, or it's extremely low under that 20 hertz level. It's just amazing how something so loud and clear you can't hear at all.
I think this was actually a directional thing. I think I was actually turned a different direction than what my audio was. So
yeah, and I just want to make 2 comments on that. So yeah, you're absolutely right. If our theory about EVPs being highly directional, low energy, blah blah blah, and that could explain it. Now the other thing, and this is for Dave, it could be that they're more in line with radio frequencies, which means your SB7, Dave, does work. I just wanted to let you know. Just had to say that, Dave. No, and look, we're 5 minutes past our scheduled time, but don't leave anybody, because we're gonna wrap this up. But I want to thank everybody, and you guys did a great job, and I love this topic, and I want everybody to know I had like 4 other clips to show, but as always, no, we never get to them, so we'll have to save them for a different show, and we'll periodically we'll do shows like this, guys, that will just display evidence and talk about them and give our thoughts and our analysis, and we want to hear from you guys, and we really appreciate it. And before we say goodbye, I just want to get any summary you guys want to talk about or say. Carrie, you want to sum this up for you, this show?
This team, I look forward to Sundays. I really do to this. You know, it reminds me of how we'd always talk, and sometimes things are running through my head, especially at night, and I'm jotting it down, and I'm trying to think, how am I going to find the words to really say what I'm trying to get across? And somehow you guys will always kind of link up and catch on, and then kind of bounce things off of each other and question. And with this, I love everybody's comments and that, because it takes the time for us to stop, look back, take what you're saying, put it in that situation. And it's a great way. We're not saying we're 100% right. There could be another explanation. So having other people chime in on it is definitely helps. I could go on, but I'm just going to keep it up.
Okay. Well, Dave, final summary on this.
No, it's great seeing everyone. Great seeing everyone in the chat. We did discuss designing a kind of an inline audio or inline recorder where you could actually hear it at the time and then kind of respond to what you were hearing as an EVP, which you couldn't hear with your ears, you know. I think there's huge value in still doing that, Cordell, to be honest.
Yeah, and over the years, like, and I know we've all done this, we'll put headphones on most audio recorders except headphones. And the problem is, my experience doing that, and this is what Dave's talking about, is you got to we have to design something with almost like a delay where, because in real time, I've noticed a lot is missed still. And so I think you'd have to have a slight delay in it. It would almost be like at base camp guys listening to the audio in real time, but instead of that, have like a 1 minute delay, and you have somebody listening to that 1 minute delay. So they're actually listening to a real-time recording, but it's only delayed for like 30 seconds or something. I think that's what needs to be done. And anyway, that's good. But look, Dave has to jet off to work, I think, or something, or has to hit the road.
Yeah.
Traveling, and he's gonna get his GoPro set up so he can catch that hitchhiker. And when he stops to pick him up, maybe he can get a conversation with the belt buckle. And well, no, only those that have seen the previous shows many weeks ago would understand that reference. So, oh, wait a minute. I'm trying to.
Like before Lisa goes and all that, it's Mother's Day here in the States, but to me, every day is Mother's Day, and you know, Lisa and that wonderful mother. So I'm extending another happy Mother's Day to Lisa. Every day is Mother's Day, Dave. Remember that.
Exactly. Exactly.
Well, honestly, everything I am, I owe to my mother, because I wouldn't be here if she didn't pop me out. So,
Mother's Day, my day.
But no, all joking aside, yes, happy Mother's Day to every mother around the world. And I don't know how mothers do it, Dave. I really don't. My hats are off to them, because I don't think I could do it. So
I'm getting ready to go to a barbecue with my grandbabies.
Yeah, that's right. Carrie's got to go too. And
thanks, Joan, for joining us. Hoping you'll do it again. This is wonderful. I really enjoyed it.
Okay, now we're gonna say our goodbyes, but if you don't subscribe to our YouTube channel, please do now. It helps us. Click the like button. We're trying to do this every Sunday. I think we've only missed one Sunday since we started this. So, but we're trying to do this same time, same place every Sunday. And sorry, guys, I do want to put that up. We miss you too, Bob. Hey, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Joan. And thank you, guys. And remember, if you watch this in recording, you can still add to the chat. We get notified if you do. We'll try to answer your question. And to everybody out there, if there's a subject or an area in the paranormal, which is vast, we have a Bigfoot expert, Dave, here. He'd be more than happy to talk about Bigfoot.
All night.
Topics are not, there's no topic off the table, anything to do with paranormal investigating, period, which is a big field. People always just assume, guys, it's ghosts and we're talking to the dead. Well, no, the paranormal field is vast. It covers all kinds of stuff. Let me try to get this.
I used to work for a nurse whose father made documentaries on Sasquatch.
I've seen two. I know the feeling. So on that note, so in 3 weeks' time, Bob will be sitting next to me on this podcast. So
oh, yay!
He's going to visit. So
yay!
Make sure, Dave, I have one request. Make sure Bob takes a shower, because we know that he rarely ever does. He doesn't like to take baths or showers. Yeah. So make sure he does. Okay. Pass that on to Bob. And Bob, I'm just joking. I just wanted to post Lisa's up there. Anyway, I really had a good time. You guys have got to go.
Yeah.
I'm the only one that actually doesn't have anywhere to go. It's so sad. I'm so lonely. Anyway, love you guys. Love everybody out there. Thank you so much. Hit the subscribe button. It helps us. Carrie, your turn to say good night.
Good afternoon. Dave, be safe in your journeys. Bob, Lisa, Joe, and everybody, love this. You just made Mother's Day an even brighter day. I love Sundays. Everybody be safe, and we'll see you next Sunday.
Dave, your turn.
Hey, I'll tell you what, the things you see in the night on the Scottish and English roads, man, that's an investigation in itself. I'll try to get some footage.
Okay. Is that your good night, Dave, right there?
And I was going to say good night, everyone. Great seeing you, and I'll see you next week.
And good night from me. Had a ball. Thank you, guys. Be safe, everybody. Love you all. Take care, and good night.
You take care.